In the premium car segment, designers are creating new niches which are supposed to satisfy the needs of clients looking to stand out from the crowd. In the mass car segment, Kia and Hyundai best exemplify this trend. Both brands make cars using the same parts. However, thanks to design differences, Kia is the more youth-oriented and Hyundai is the more reserved. By the way, if you want to see a more reserved Hyundai, click here. There is a review of the Hyundai Elantra. Now, there are not many as youth-oriented cars as the Kia Soul. Well, at least this is what Kia hopes. The Soul debuted in 2008. It stood out and it still stands out from the crowd. This is the second generation of the boxy car, which is now slightly bigger and slightly more modern. There's a problem with these funky-looking cars. Mini just keeps making its cars bigger with every generation. Suzuki did very little with the Swift, and I wonder what will Nissan do with the Juke. When I said the new Soul is only slightly bigger than its predecessor, I wasn't kidding. The boot is 14 liters bigger than in the previous generation. 354 liters, it's still a lot for a B-segment car, but this car competes with B-segment crossovers like Peugeot 2008 or Renault Captur or the brand new Citroën C4 Cactus. On the plus side, there are hooks, mounts, a place for small items, a torch, double floor, and underneath it, some practical storage. On the minus side is a double floor and underneath it there is some practical storage. Why? Because when I want to use the entire boot space I have to get rid of this styrofoam insert and then I have to get the false floor back down to cover the spare and I can see bits of metal sticking out. The rear doors open really wide so there's good access to the back, and in the back there is good legroom, good headroom, and even in the middle there is place for an adult. In the back and in the front there are places to hold bottles of water in the door bins. There are also cup holders between the front seats, large storage under the armrest, and even bigger storage in the glove box. There's a USB port and a 3.5mm jack socket, a place to put your mobile phone or a music player, and you can stream music via Bluetooth. This is standard on the top spec model. A few things changed here in the front of the Soul. First of all, we've got the new redesigned dashboard with the better, nice, soft touch materials. Secondly, and this is important, we've got the new dials. We've got the dials like in other new Kia models. They have this white light, you can dim it. In the first generation Kia Soul, there was no possibility of dimming this strong red light, so driving at night wasn't particularly pleasant. And thirdly, we've got this new display here. It's a combination of physical buttons and a touch screen. However, the touch screen is smaller than my smartphones these days, and actually pushing the right option here on the screen is difficult enough when I'm parked, and when I'm moving and well, when the car is moving and everything is jumping around, it's next to impossible. However, you can specify this car with an optional 8-inch display with sat-nav. This example is powered by a 128 horsepower 1.6 diesel engine. It's got 260 Newton meters of torque available from 1900 RPM, which is nothing to write home about. Also the 1.6 petrol engine, 132 horsepower. Well, that's not very powerful either. Now, I know that you guys in the States get a 2-liter petrol engine. We don't get that here in Europe. In Poland, we're quite lucky compared to the rest of Europe because we get 2 engines and 3 trim levels, and both of the engines are available with either a manual or an automatic gearbox, which is very good. Now, the Brits, they get 5 or 6 trim levels, which is even better, but the Germans only get 2 trim levels and they don't have much to choose from. Across Europe, this car seems to be rather expensive. Prices start at around 17,000 euros and go up all the way to 25 grand. Now, the car I'm driving here in Poland is the top spec automatic diesel without sat-nav and without panoramic sunroof, but it costs about 21 grand. So, you know, if you're into Kia Soul and you want it on the cheap, come to Poland, buy your Kia Soul here. The automatic gearbox, that costs around €1,000 depending on the market. It's okay in the city and outside the city. Yeah, I guess it does its job all right. Anyway, regardless of whether you go for the petrol or the diesel, they are both vaguely economical, at least on paper, because they're not really economical in real life. This 1.6 diesel is supposed to do about 6 liters per 100 kilometers in the combined cycle, and I'm struggling to keep it anywhere close to 8 liters, and that's even with the active eco mode on. On the motorway it's even worse, because this cute boxy shape means that the Kia Soul has aerodynamic properties of a box. But the Soul is mainly a city car, which you're going to take for vacation maybe twice a year. The suspension absorbs all the imperfections in the road, and that's despite 18-inch alloys. In the bends, the Soul does roll, but this is supposed to be a city car, it's supposed to be comfortable, and it is comfortable. It's also got quite light steering, which is good around the city. Now, Kia offers this as standard with Kia Flex Steer, which is progressive power steering. It comes with 3 modes. You can change it with the press of a button. You can go between normal, comfort or sport. I've driven a number of Kias and Hyundais, all of them equipped with this Flex Steer system, and to be honest, I couldn't tell a difference between the modes. It's just a gimmick. Visibility is good in the front and sideways, but if I look over my shoulder, there's this huge C-pillar which obstructs visibility. Also, the rear window, it ends rather high, so you may want to go for a version which has parking sensors or even a reversing camera. Now, this is standard on higher trim models, but in lower trim models you may have to check whether this option is available. And trust me, parking sensors, you will need them, and the reversing camera, yeah, that too. The Soul is a great city package. It stands out of the crowd in the parking lot, and it is practical in everyday use. And once every few months you'll manage the hassle with the boot. If you have a choice, go for the mid or high-spec petrol version. Also, watch my other reviews and subscribe to my channel. New reviews every Friday. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Google+. You'll find all the links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.